Welcome to this month's Exercise of the Month. This month is March and it's Women's Health Awareness Month. So there are a mass of resources out there for general women's health awareness. The area of particular interest with regards to a lot of the core exercises and things we're looking at, particularly in a lot of these videos, is pelvic floor exercises. There is loads and loads of information out there how to do some more basic exercises and how you can kind of keep everything as tight and controlled as possible through there. But most of these videos tend to aim at a more kind of basic level of control, just being able to switch on or switch off. Now that's very, very useful for certain people at a certain point in their kind of recovery process from injury or in the prevention of injury. However, if you're doing a lot of my exercises in these videos, you're possibly at a point where you can already control a lot of these things. And what we want to be looking at is some more advanced exercises that give you a core strength benefit that also incorporate a lot of benefits outside of that towards the pelvic floor. So for this exercise, I'm taking for granted the fact that you know how to activate your pelvic floor, how to kind of squeeze and hold those muscles and kind of pull up using whatever mechanism you kind of know from other videos or advice. But what we're going to do is just show you a few ways to work in an exercise we call a baby roll, which is a really, really good core exercise to it really benefits that core, that pelvic floor if it's combined with the diaphragm in breathing and with the pelvic floor in this position. You're building a really solid core. If you think about those four elements, you've got the muscles around the outside here, so the front and back. You've also got your diaphragm and the pelvic floor. Together, that is essentially what makes your core stability. If there's a weak link anywhere in that, then the other links will have to work harder, and then you're making yourself more at risk of injury. So from an exercise point of view, this is a simple one. You want to be lying on the floor or a firm surface. You want to bring the legs up and press the back down into the floor. So you're just keeping that back in contact with the floor. Gentle chin tuck. These are usual rules from most of my exercises. You'll be familiar with that if you've watched any of the videos. If you haven't, get on that, watch some of our videos. The basic version of the exercise, you take the arms up. The most basic version of the exercise, you would have a Swiss ball, a large gym ball, or a space hopper sized ball just squeezed in between the arms and the legs. That helps fire up the core muscles and gives you a bit of control. And then you're aiming to just roll from side to side, keeping the shoulders and hips lined up, nice and stable, and able to relax and breathe. Remember, I was talking about the diaphragm being very, very crucial in this. As you roll from side to side, you're aiming to keep everything square and under control. What's most important with that is we're breathing diaphragmatically, so we're not breathing up into the chest. That inhibits the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. We're trying to breathe down here using the stomach, keeping the ribs under control, and that allows the pelvic floor to push up and the diaphragm to push down. While we've got the legs up in this position, everything should be able to squeeze. So you're using all of those kind of pulling up techniques you've seen before, but I want to make sure you're getting the diaphragm involved as well. It's a really neglected part of that whole core strength assembly. So from there, we've shown you the most basic version with the gym ball. You can do the version I've shown you in the video, which doesn't have any assistance in here. So it becomes a little more difficult to stop the knees and hips going separately. I need everything to try and stay nice and square. And the next progression above from that, which is a very simple one. Some people do find it easier to do like this, where we take a resistance band. We can then just cross that across the middle and press out. So pressing out in all directions activates the muscles on the back. It should take some pressure off of the muscles on the front as well. So if you're struggling with those core muscles, this is a brilliant way to take the pressure off and a brilliant way to make it easier to focus on things like the pelvic floor and the breathing. So if you've got too much tension in the abdominal muscles, try like this, and it allows you to just release some of those abdominal muscles so you can breathe nice and deeply using the diaphragm. You should be able to see there's a little bit of movement happening here as I breathe. I'm not shrugging my shoulders. To make it more advanced, we can make it asymmetrical. So we take the weight across one side or the other and then control the roll. This makes it very difficult to keep the abs controlled because you're only using one set of the abs running across. And then from there, a further progression is to use a weight. Once again, you can take 2 weights, symmetrically loading again. Symmetrically loading this exercise sometimes makes it easier for some people, sometimes makes it harder for others. What I'm going to show you here is a significant progression, which is where we're using a heavy weight to roll and maintain that stability, not to roll over onto the floor. You're trying to find that balance point and just stay stable, keeping the shoulders and the hips nicely parallel and keeping the arms in line with the knees. This same exercise can be done with the weight high or low. So in a low position, you're bracing through the chest on the arm nearest the floor. In a high position, you're resisting through the outside of the shoulder on the high side. There's some really simple exercises that have quite a significant impact on the pelvic floor. They're a really nice progression away from your basic pelvic floor exercises and can have a really significant impact on how it ties in with your diaphragm and your general core muscles. As with all of our exercises, if there are any issues, please don't hesitate to get in touch with one of us at the clinic.